Hello everybody, welcome to another Aspiring Teen Chefs. And no, I'm not Justin. I didn't change overnight or morph into Justin. It's just, for some reason, my apron has gone missing, so I'm borrowing Justin's for the day. So this is our handy dandy helper, Jalen, who's gonna learn how to make my favorite Christmas snack. It is Old Dutch popcorn twist with a caramel coating. So it's like caramel corn, and it's so good that I call it by a name that I probably won't say here on YouTube, but it's addicting. Let's just put it that way. So we're gonna make two recipes, and hopefully we can keep from picking out on it so it's gone in one day. So the recipe is actually printed on the back here, but we will include it in the description. You need, because I'm making a double recipe, you need 2 bags of these. And we're just gonna pour those suckers in there. Go ahead. Then we need a ½ pound of butter per recipe. So yes, we are gonna use an entire pound of butter. Oh, by the way, you can use this caramel recipe on popcorn if you want. But this is absolutely my favorite Christmas treat of all times. So I have to hide this stuff because the kids get into it and it's gone within 2 hours if I make like a double bag. Like, you see how much that is. So 1 pound of butter, we're gonna get that melting on our stove at medium heat because we don't wanna burn it. And then we're gonna add some brown sugar and some corn syrup. Okay, so let's turn that to medium. And we have to wait for it to melt, it's a little cold. So, for each recipe you need a cup of brown sugar and a cup of corn syrup. So, since we're doubling, it's 2 and 1. So if you could fill up your cup there, Jalen, with 2 cups of brown sugar. Oh, I'm so tired today, Jalen. I'm so tired today, Jalen. Jalen, I'm so tired today. Aren't you gonna ask me why?
Why?
Because I was up all night. Aren't you gonna ask me why I was up all night?
Why were you up all night?
Because I was waiting for the sunrise. And then it dawned on me. Anyways, I think I have just enough corn syrup here to make 1 full cup. Oh, I'm short about a 1/4 cup. Unless I stand here, I'll probably end up standing here. So good job. Don't remember, pack it down, brown sugar. There's a lot of air in brown sugar, so we want to get all those air pockets out of there. So you might need a little bit more to fill it up to 2 cups. And as soon as we get these suckers filled, we'll tune into the stove where we'll add it. This is a super, super easy recipe. Takes hardly no time, but it sure is delicious. Okay, so our butter is nicely melted. I'm gonna ask Jalen to please put in the brown sugar. Gently, please. Don't dump it in. So when you're gonna put brown sugar in gently, kind of hold your hand over it so it doesn't just go floomp. So it's gentle because I don't want that hot butter spilling on me. And we're also gonna add our corn syrup. Go ahead, honey. Start pouring that in. It smells good already. See, this is why we should have smell-o-vision or taste-o-vision. Although you could just make it yourself and then you have taste-o-vision, I guess. Okay, you're gonna have to scrape that, the rest of it. Make sure you hold it over the center of the pot so you don't miss and hit the stove top and make a giant mess. This smells really good. So this has to cook together for about 2 minutes, maybe a tad bit longer because we have doubled the recipe. And then we have to add some baking soda in there. That's good, hun. That looks good. You can put that in the sink. So I'm just gonna continue stirring this and let it cook for about 2-3 minutes. We have started our stove at 250 degrees. This is a slow bake. It takes, for one recipe, it takes about 45 minutes. And I found, since I generally double the recipe, it takes a little bit longer, like maybe an hour, slow cooking. And when we add that baking soda in, it's gonna make this caramel become hard and chewy. This will just sogify, I know, another new word, sogify our popcorn, and it'll shrink and it'll turn into like hard little kernels of not very tasty stuff. So it's actually the baking soda that you need. We're gonna add in 2 teaspoons, sorry. It's 1 teaspoon for each recipe. And we will come back when we put the baking soda in. All right, so now we have to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and you'll see what it does. Okay, we're gonna just give it a stir, and you're gonna see this stuff start to get foamy. This is why we use a bigger pot when we do this, because the baking powder, or sorry, baking soda is gonna foam up. This is what gives us our candy instead of soggy caramel. So we just have to stir this up. We have to leave it for about another 2 minutes like this. Just keep stirring it, because it does get quite high. You see when I'm not stirring it, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it would eventually probably spill out on the stove. So if you used a small pot for this, this would already be bubbled out on your stove, making a mess, causing a fire. We don't want that. So let's just keep stirring it, maybe for another minute. We've got to make sure that the baking soda is all throughout the whole mixture. That's why I use a whisk. Does a much better blending job than a wooden spoon or a spatula. And you can kind of tell it's getting a little bit darker now, and that's when we start knowing that it's just about ready. So again, you don't want to burn this, so you have to keep an eye on it. That's a lot of sugar. Sugar has a very low burning point and melting point. Okay, I think we're ready. So we're gonna take this over to our caramel corn, and I can smell it. It's smelling like candy now. And we're gonna pour this on our popcorn twists. Okay, I'm gonna pour this onto the popcorn twists, and then I'm gonna get Jaylyn to stir it. So Jaylyn, when you stir it, because sugar burns intensely on your skin, you're gonna have to make sure that you don't get any on your hands. So stir carefully. Whoops. 10-second rule. Okay, go ahead, give that a stir. Don't use your hands. So just grab it strongly and just stir it around. Okay, go ahead. Be strong. Have strong spirit fingers. That's a movie reference. Okay, I'm gonna pour the rest of this on here before it burns in the bottom. This is a very heavy bottom pot, so it does retain a lot of heat. And I'm just gonna use our spoon there to scrape it all in, because we want all of that yummy, yummy, yummy caramel mixture on there. And we're gonna get Jaylyn to continue stirring this up. It's more like flipping it over and over, Jaylyn, just so that it all gets covered. Here, can I just show you one more time? So take from the bottom, lift. Take from the bottom, lift. You wanna get all of that sugar mixture all over your popcorn twists, or popcorn if you decide to do popcorn. The thing with popcorn though, what makes this really tasty is, of course, the popcorn twists have salt on them. So you would have to salt your popcorn if you were just gonna use regular popcorn. And the good thing about this is you don't get those hulls stuck in your teeth. So keep stirring. Come on, strong muscles, lady. Use your muscles. Okay, make sure you do this side too. Stir it up. Yeah. And then we have to slow cook this at 250 degrees. Here, can I just see this? I see that there's a lot of the caramel mixture underneath here. Do you see all that? It just kind of sunk to the bottom. So we want to get as much of this on the popcorn. Now, during the cooking process in the oven, this stuff will be melting all the time. And it will coat, it'll drip down to the popcorn down below. But you want to start off really good with a nice coating on everything. So I think you could also, if you really wanted to, you could add nuts in here, like maybe walnuts, pecans. I often thought about breaking up pretzels and adding it in, because I bet you that would be super tasty. I just haven't done it yet. So maybe we'll try that this year. We'll see. Okay, I think we're ready to pop her in the oven. So why don't you open the oven door and stick it in. Now you'll see that because I have such a large roaster, oh, I took out the wrong rack. Yep, open it. So I only leave one rack in. That's actually my turkey roaster for Thanksgiving, Christmas. So we're gonna pop that on the bottom. Okay, Jillian, if you can get our roaster and throw that in. And we're gonna set our timer for 15 minutes. And we'll come back, give it a stir, and then we'll come back again at the end when we're ready to taste it. Well, take it out of the oven. So I'm gonna set my timer for 15 minutes. Oops, not 30. Because you have to stir it every 15, every 10 or 15. So if you were doing a single batch, I would stir it every 10, but because this is a double, we're gonna stir it every 15. Okay, we'll see you in a little bit. All right, as you can see, we just have a few seconds left from our first 15 minutes. So Jalen's gonna take it out and put it on the cupboard here. You might see that I have prepared some wax paper on the counter here. So that's when it's done. What we're gonna do, can you make sure you shut the oven door, is we're gonna turn it out on this. So can I just have one oven mitt for a second, hon? Okay, so to stir, it's just kind of the same thing we already did, although it's a little bit easier because your caramel mixture has melted. And you just have to give it a little general stir. I'll get you to try this, Jalen. Do this side, turn it around, do it on the other side. Just be careful not to touch the pan, it's really hot. So flip it over so that whatever's on the bottom is now on the top. There we go. And then spin your roaster around, do the other side. And then we're gonna put this back in the oven. Let it cook for another 15 minutes. You can see already that our caramel mixture is getting darker, and that's what it's supposed to do. So I'm just gonna give this a little shake so it spreads out, get that caramel off of there. Here. There. Doesn't shake very well. So I'll use my spatula. We'll just spread it out in here. And this will start getting crispy probably after the third 15 minutes. But this is all we're gonna film for the stirring process. We're just gonna pop this back in the oven. You wanna get the door for me, hun? Good job. Okay, just gonna pop that back in. Set our timer for another 15 minutes. And when it's ready to come out is when we'll start filming again, so you don't have to watch us doing this over and over and over. All right, see you in a bit. Alrighty, so this has been an hour, and I can tell by the smell it's ready, and I can tell by the color that it's ready. It's that dark golden brown. So what we have to do now is just give it one last stir. So we put it in for 4 15-minute segments, stirring in between. So you need this darker golden brown color to let you know that your caramel is going to set. Now you don't want it too dark or else it's burned. So we're just gonna give it a quick stir here. And then we are gonna pour it onto our wax paper surface that we prepared. And then this has to cool for about 15 minutes or so. We are gonna spread it out on here. It's very hot. Will burn your fingers at this point. Heated up sugar. So we want to make sure and let it cool a little bit, and then we're going to break it apart. And we're going to taste it. That's the most important thing, is the tasting. So we'll get our handy dandy little tasters up here. And get this all out. Sorry, kind of got weak arms today. I didn't sleep very good last night. Oh, come on. This is just being putsy. Okay. Just tip this like this. So we put it on the wax paper to keep it from sticking to our counter. It doesn't stick when it's on the wax paper. It sticks a little bit, but not enough to melt the wax. So I'm just gonna take my oven mitts. I'm gonna spread this out a little bit on the wax paper. If it's all spread out, it'll cool a lot faster. Get that sugar cooled down. And our cameraman's already tasting, burning his mouth, because this stuff is so addictive. Oh, and our sous chef is tasting too. Does it taste good?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna let it cool, and I'll show you breaking it apart, and then we'll get our tasters up. It's already crunchy. Once this sugar cools, it's gonna get even crunchier. Oh.
Tastes better hot. Tastes better hot, like warm.
I don't care. I'll eat it hot or cold. So, okay, if the three of us can stop eating it for 15 minutes, we'll cool it off, and then we'll break it apart, and then we'll show you the finished product. Okay,
Yeah.
so we have some no sneaking. So we have to break this apart. It's all cool now.
Punch it to break it apart.
No, I don't think we want to punch it. If we start punching it, then we're gonna have dust.
Done.
So we're just gonna break this apart.
Let's do it again.
And as you can see, our cameraman keeps stealing pieces. Maybe he's filming it so you can't see. But every time I turn around, he's got his fingers in here. You can see that this stuff is so delicious.
Yum, yum.
If you like caramel, then you are definitely gonna love this.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, you can do this with just regular popcorn. Tastes just as good. Now, credit goes to Old Dutch Company for providing this recipe on their bag of popcorn twists. And I don't know who came up with the recipe over there, but boy, is it good. Okay, let's taste. Everybody grab some.
This tastes good. Have you thought of the joke yet?
Is there going to be any left tomorrow morning?
No, maybe.
Probably not. Okay,
Have you thought of the joke yet?
before I start really stuffing my face, like, subscribe, share, hit the bell
Hey, Mom.
so that you can be notified of all of our videos.
Mom.
I think I've mentioned in the last video that, just 1 second, Jamie, that I'm doing my Christmas treats from now until the end of Christmas every week. Last week we did shortbread cookies with jam filling, and this week is caramel corn. I'm not 100% sure yet what I'm gonna do for next week, but I think it might be cabbage rolls. So if you're interested in learning how to make the real Ukrainian cabbage rolls with soured cabbage, be a little bit of a longer video, then tune in next week and have a fabulous day.
I thought of a joke.
Okay, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.